Hey, I got these truthburgers, man. Want some?
No,
You can't handle the truth.
I just want to be in my safe space.
Unhappy at work? You're in good company. A new survey shows only 45% of Americans are satisfied with their jobs.
Numbers we can't ignore. New data from the Blue Cross Blue Shield Insurance Company shows depression is on the rise.
In Western countries from 1973 to 2011, the average sperm count decreased from 99 million per milliliter to 47 million, drop of more than 50%.
$16.15 trillion. That is how much debt American households owed by the second quarter of 2022. A staggering 41.79% increase from $11.39 trillion just 10 years prior.
I see all this potential, and I see it squandered. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need.
If you've ever heard the quote, "Live each day as if it were your last," you've probably gotten a stern reminder that death is indeed approaching us all. And if you live in today's modern world, you probably ought to reread that quote over and over again until it's carved in your fucking mind, like the time you walked in on your parents making love that one Thanksgiving.
And if your moms are anything like mine and Aiden's, well then, you've probably walked in on enough to leave you more traumatized than a soldier suffering from PTSD.
Oh God, give it to me. Oh yeah. Oh, that's it, baby, that's it. Oh, you feel so good.
Ugh, the horror. Anyways, you guys know what's better than memorizing motivational quotes or helplessly repressing traumatic child memories? It's putting on David Fincher's 1999 classic, Fight Club.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
In a world where many people are searching for instant gratification via unhealthy vices and chasing materialistic goals in hopes of filling the void created by their unfulfilled lives, Tyler Durden may be one of the most important personalities to ever grace cinema. In this video, we'll explore how and why Tyler resonates with so many men and women today. Be it positive or negative traits of his, there's no denying that the character's allure has only grown in the decades since his cinematic introduction. Now, with that said, today we do not lay judgment on any woke movie, but instead we
Lay it to smack it down.
on America's culture of consumerism, debt, lack of grit, and the feminization of our society.
In the name of Jesus.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I execute judgment on you.
For 6 months, I couldn't sleep. With insomnia, nothing's real. Everything's far away. Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
To understand Tyler Durden is to first see ourselves in the narrator of the movie, played by Edward Norton, an insomniac living an unfulfilling existence as an automobile recall specialist, a tedious office job that occasionally requires him to travel. Despite his hatred for the job, it affords him the ability to purchase IKEA furniture that he hopes will bring him some self-worth. As you can see, the guy's life is as exciting as going on the line ride.
Here we go, finally.
Did you enjoy the ride?
What ride? Yeah.
This was the line ride, a real-life simulator of a long line.
You gotta be kidding me.
The narrator's name is never made clear, mainly because he represents the everyman. You know who he also represents? The 50% of American workers who reported feeling stressed at their jobs on a daily basis.
Enter Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. He's a manifestation of the narrator's own split personality. Tyler appears shortly after the narrator wishes his own plane crashes, marking just how dissatisfied he is with his own life. Tyler quickly proves to be the opposite of our protagonist. Charismatic, fit, interesting. He's everything the narrator wishes he could be.
What do you do? What do you mean? What do you do for a living? Why? So you can pretend like you're interested.
Fuck yes. Tyler Durden is direct. He says what we all think but are afraid to say. For him, brutal honesty comes before societal niceties.
You called me because you needed a place to stay.
Oh, hey, no.
Yes, you
I
did.
didn't mean...
So just ask. Cut the foreplay and just ask, man.
Would that be a problem?
Is it a problem for you to ask?
Can I stay at your place?
Yeah.
Once again, the narrator avoids getting to the point, so he gets called out by Tyler. The point here, people, is to stop being an overthinking vagina and say what you really want to say. Have the freedom to stop worrying.
3 pitchers of beer and you still can't ask.
What?
Things you own end up owning you.
This message should be given more thought by people who doom their financial future when they take out ridiculous amounts of debt to buy that new iPhone, despite its only upgrade over the last version being that it can identify the color of shit based on what you eat throughout the day. Now, don't get us wrong here. Nobody's knocking capitalism. Making money is a great thing. Plus, God forbid being a commie.
In Soviet Russia, car drives you.
The problem is people who look for meaning through materialism. To a large extent, that's what Tyler Durden represents. The freedom to let go of things that do not matter.
I had it all. I had a stereo that was very decent, a wardrobe that was getting very respectable. I was close to being complete.
As the narrator mourns the loss of his materialistic possessions that burned away with his condo, Tyler responds and delivers what are some of the film's most interesting lines of dialogue.
We are byproducts of a lifestyle obsession. Murder, crime, poverty, these things don't concern me. What concerns me are celebrity magazines, television with 500 channels, some guy's name on my underwear.
His words hit like an epiphany to our protagonist and us, the audience. Materialistic gains are not necessary for our survival, but we've allowed ourselves to believe that they are.
Tyler also exposes our society for what it often is, a premeditated set of expectations placed on all of us. Think about it. We go to school, we go to college, we get a job, then we settle down and we buy a house. We pay off debts until we're 60. By the time we retire from the shackles of work, we're old and tired. Our youth has melted away and all that's left is a shell what we once were.
Now those days are gone. It's empty. I'm nothing. That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss them, because sometimes I feel like a bitch.
By then, the game of life is already over.
My dad never went to college, so it's real important that I go. So I graduate. I call him up long distance. I said, Dad, now what? He says, get a job. Now I'm 25. Make my yearly call again. I say, Dad, now what? He says, I don't know. Get married.
Another misconception he points out is one of modern society's greatest lies.
All been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. We're very, very pissed off.
See, we all think we're special because we're told that we are, so by default we're bound for greatness, right? And when we realize we're wrong, our psyche breaks down. For some, this might be their midlife crisis stage. But no one is special, and no one's entitled to success. You must work for it.
A lot of times it's people that don't work enough. Let's just move forward. Let's go move.
Tyler Durden reminds us of the inevitable day when we realize that the happy story we envisioned in our minds is not happening simply because we did not work for it, and we wasted our fucking lives.
You are not special. You are not a beautiful or unique snowflake.
What are we then?
Consumers.
Right. We are consumers. The middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our lives.
Tyler Durden teaches the narrator how to regain his masculinity and shows him what matters in life, such as human interaction and courage.
Every time it rained, we had to kill the power. By the end of the first month, I didn't miss TV.
He takes the narrator out of his obsession with owning things and avoiding necessary confrontation. Durden preaches letting go of your fears, not to suppress, but to express. He shows that it's okay to get into a fight and be a man.
After fighting, everything else in your life got the volume turned down. What? You could deal with anything.
The message is to stop being a pussy through life. Stop fearing exaggerated consequences, many of which only exist in our minds. Fighting represents facing the ultimate confrontation, physical confrontation. Tyler uses the Fight Club.
Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
To break down walls of fear, to build a brotherhood among the men.
Look, you don't want to get into this. It becomes an addiction. I'm not kidding. I can't cry if there's another faker present, and I need this.
The narrator was emasculated by his unfulfilling life, so he craved authenticity and to belong. Everyone wants to connect and be a part of a tribe, especially men, and this rings true today, where masculinity is shamed and scrutinized. Many people are afraid of any type of confrontation and hold feelings of anger inside, and because of being afraid of confronting their boss, bullies, co-workers, and partners, they cower away and live lives of quiet frustration as they themselves get trampled on, all in the name of keeping the peace.
Most people, normal people, do just about anything to avoid a fight.
Now, we would be remiss in talking about Tyler Durden without mentioning the character's downward spiral into crime and anarchy towards the end of the movie.
He's dead now because of us, alright? Do you understand that?
I understand. In death, a member of Project Mayhem has a name.
His name is Robert Paulson.
But when looking at the film through today's lenses, the emasculated men of Tyler's cult are eerily similar to what society would refer today as incels and black-pilled men. Sometimes society unknowingly creates its own problems when it shames and discards some of its own citizens. In the end, the narrator rejects the darker sides of his alter ego, showing that he is in control of his own life, and one can assume that the best parts of Durden will stay with him. Again, when viewing this through 2023 lenses, this is the equivalent to people who awakened from the many lies of society and either chose to continue to be depressed while bitching and moaning about how their lives suck, or they grew a pair, put in the work, and changed their lives for the better.
Who has enough ruthless aggression to make the necessary sacrifices of mind, body, and soul in order to be a success?
Stay with the pain. Don't shut this out. Look at your hand. The first soap was made from the ashes of heroes. Without pain, without sacrifice, we would have nothing.
Putting the Project Mayhem stuff aside, Tyler improved the narrator's life by helping him regain control of it instead of wasting time living like a mindless zombie. We live in an era of record debt, porn addiction, living paycheck to paycheck, and lacking financial literacy. Many would prefer receiving a handout or complain or be compliant, with no regard for the fact that time is slipping away.
What did you want to be? Veterinarian. Animals.
That means you have to get more schooling.
Too much school.
Would you rather be dead?
This powerful scene speaks to all of us. How many Raymonds do we see every day working dead-end jobs, neglecting their dreams because of fear, laziness, and complacency?
I'm keeping your license. Gonna check in on you. I know where you live. If you're not on your way to becoming a veterinarian in 6 weeks, you will be dead. Now run on home.
Walk into your local retailer and you'll see cashiers with 20-year badges, as if it's something to be proud of that you wasted decades of your life checking people's groceries when you could have lived a more fulfilling one. Tyler's encounter with the store clerk Raymond shows us that we should appreciate our lives and spend our time doing things that are more meaningful to us.
Tomorrow will be the most beautiful day of Raymond Castle's life. His breakfast will taste better than any meal you and I have ever tasted.
It took being faced with the realization of death for Raymond to spring into action and take back control of his life.
If you were to die right now, how would you feel about your life?
I don't know. I wouldn't feel anything good about my life.
Unfortunately for most people, their answer to Durden's question would be the same depressing response as the narrator's. There's no urgency among most people to achieve their dreams and be something better. Most of us get stuck in a 9-to-5 job and hope for a miracle that never seems to come. We have to put in the work and make great sacrifices in order to achieve whatever it is that we want. But many people lack work ethic, are afraid to take risks, or they just try to convince themselves that they're content with their mediocre lives. Part of Tyler's appeal is his refusal to live in a safe space. He's not tied down by societal norms. He says what we all think, but we're afraid to say. Wait, he sort of reminds me of someone. Oh yeah, I can't mention his name now neither.
Stop trying to control everything and just let go.
In an era where people seem to be getting cancelled for jokes and walking on eggshells, this belt around our throats has been tightened by the mainstream media. Now more than ever, we sure could use some of Tyler's remedies for this fucking insanity. In many ways, we want to say what we think, but we bitch out for fear of consequences. So we spend our time imagining when the day comes where we actually speak up and say something. And like the narrator, we think of our own imaginary Tyler Durden.
All the ways you wish you could be, that's me. I look like you want to look, I fuck like you want to fuck, I am smart, capable, and most importantly, I'm free in all the ways that you are not.
All people have an inner Tyler Durden, a version of themselves that they wish they had lived as, but are afraid to embrace. So instead of embracing our own badass alpha version, we rather keep that inner persona hidden, because it would take us out of our own comfort zone. And what's the consequence of doing this? Well, it's living a life of submissiveness, of quiet desperation, and emptiness. If we know what the best version of ourselves is, and you could imagine being that version, then work towards becoming that person. Being that our time here is limited, drop the video games, the porn, the TikTok, and get to work on becoming the best version of yourself. You have so much to win and so little to lose. That is what Tyler Durden is all about, and why we need him now more than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, embrace your inner Tyler Durden.